Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is June Kamba. For those who are new here, you're most welcome. This is an agricultural channel. We talk all things about agriculture and all things relating to it. So, in today's episode, we're going to be doing something quite different from what we've been doing previously. We're going to be talking about the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. So, I'll first of all introduce SDGs in case you don't know what an SDG is, or if you're working towards maybe you've not heard of it, but most likely you're working towards something similar to this. Yeah, so SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals. This is a collection. The Sustainable Development Goals are a collection of 17 interlinked global goals. What happened was it's actually something that has been enrolled by the United Nations. So the countries that are members of the United Nations all agreed to have these goals, and they actually all agreed to it. Like there were a set of rules, and they complied to them. Let's say they complied to them. So these sustainable development goals are designed to be a shared blueprint for peace. I'm reading from my notebook actually, the research that I've gathered, and then now I'm sharing it out to everyone. So it's designed to be a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet. Because so many people are involved, so many countries are involved. If we all work together to attain these SDGs, it means that the whole world will have been attaining towards a similar goal, which will make the whole world a better place of understanding. Yeah. Now, for now and into the future. So it's a collection of 17 interlinked global goals designed to be a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, now and in the future. It's also something to benefit the future generation. Yeah. So they were set up in 2015. That's when they were first set up, and by the United Nations General Assembly, and they were intended to be achieved by 2030. So they were set up in 2015, and they're supposed to be achieved by 2030. Previously, before 2015, there was the Millennial Development Goals, and these Millennial Development Goals, they and like this Sustainable Development Goals, the millennial were they were more concentrated on the individual person. Let's say, for instance, like maternity health care, and they're mostly also for the developing countries. So they were more interested in like the healthcare, in stuff like vaccination and all those other things to do with people as more like things to do with people individually, like the healthcare and all those other things. But now in the Sustainable Development Goals, they are more integrated. You find that it's not only like healthcare, there's also the environment, there's also like other things socially, and so many other aspects have been considered. So what are these sustainable development goals? There are 17 of them. So the first one is no poverty. So they are working towards ending poverty. That means that everyone should be um, at least secure, financially secure, and all those other things. That's the first one. There should be no poverty by 2030. The second one is zero hunger. They're supposed to end hunger and achieve food security and improved nutrition. They're supposed to also promote sustainable agriculture. That's the second one. And then the third one is good health and well-being. So ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. So it's not only healthcare for children or healthcare for teenagers or for young adults and for the elderly, it's for everyone. Of course they'll have to consider those vulnerable people who are at risk, and also let's say lift them up so that it can be more equitable. Yeah. And then the fourth one is quality education. There has to be quality education. Like for instance, I always say, like, you can go to school but you're not well educated, because you can go to school, you learn ABCD, but you don't know how to apply it for a sustainable, future for yourself and even for those who are around you. Yeah, so okay, it says ensures inclusive and equitable education and quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities. Lifelong learning opportunities. So it does not matter the age or whichever. If you want to continue to learn, there's no masomo hayana mwisho. Really see that masomo hayana mwisho. Education has no end. Yeah, so there's also the fifth one is gender equality. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Some places, believe it or not, there are places where women are still not empowered. Even in town areas, even in urban areas, there are places where gender equality is not yet there. And if you may ask me, there are also places where women are actually more empowered. Like you can, like in a society, you can make sure that there is gender equality. And then there's the sixth one, which is these are the SDGs that I'm mentioning. There are 17 of them. I am in number six. The sixth one is clean water and sanitation. Ensure availability and ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation. This is an example of, like, for instance, here in Kenya, like we have the sewage system, the sewer system. This sewer system can actually be treated to be reused for farming or all these other things. That's one way of conserving water, right? It's a way of conserving water. And then number seven, affordable and clean energy. Ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. So we can actually use the natural resources that are available to us, such as wind, such as solar. So we are trying to make sure that there is energy and energy for everyone. There are places where there's still no energy. I've just seen recently that solar panels were taken to, I don't know, somewhere in northeastern, and just to help them, add more, like for instance, the children who are in school, they can be able to read through the night. People can able to human beings are very creative and very diverse. If you're provided for electricity, well, you can't miss something to do, something to do to towards greatness, right? Yeah. And then that was the seventh one. We are now in the eighth one. Decent work and economic growth. Promote sustainable, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work. So there should be decent work for all. Yeah, availability of work, and it should be decent and sustainable. The ninth one, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and faster innovation. That's very nice, because this is where actually the youth are very conversant with this, I'm sure. They're very innovative. People here are very innovative. How can we take this innovativeness to greater heights, to improve our world as it is right now, to seek solutions to the problems that we have right now? Yeah, we are trying to build the infrastructure. We have roads. We just recently had the expressway. The expressway has helped so much. It has eased the traffic. That means things are moving smoother than it were if the expressway was not here, of course. We are also having the industrialization. Our products, how can we add value to our products and all those things, manufacturing, all those things, the produce that we acquire, how can we add more value to it? Let's go to number 10, reduced inequalities. Reduced inequalities within and among countries. So this means during the MDGs, there were some countries that were left behind. Like for instance, when it comes to matters like maternal health care, but infant mortalities and all those other things, some countries still suffer from such cases, and they were, let's say, they were left behind. But with the SDGs, all countries are actually working together in agreement. No one is left behind, because all these countries are countries within the United Nations fraternity. So in number 11, we have sustainable cities and communities. Cities and communities. Make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, and resilient and sustainable. So the cities that we already have, that are already existing, should be sustainable, meaning that the people living within these cities, they should be having enough and they should be having surplus. That is what sustainability basically means. And also they should be resilient. Things such as, let's say, like right now there's drought, there's all those things. These cities should be able to persevere and become resilient. They should be able to pull through with it. Somehow they should be able to manage themselves through even tough times. Yeah, so that's actually one of the goals for the 2030 SDG plan. And then we have the 12th one, responsible consumption and production. Responsible consumption and production. So if it's production, this production should be safe, it should be green, not adding to the, already to the pollution and all those things. The consumption should also be fairly well, because in this most simplest example is that we should so we have the reduced responsible consumption and production, sustainable production and consumption patterns. So, like for instance, if it's production, if it is emitting the carbon dioxide and all those other things, or if it's a company that's emitting wastewater and not treating it, so this production and consumption, the patterns, they should work on their patterns. If it's creating solutions to their waste, they should be able to create a good pattern um, adding that is adding good value to the society and to the region at large. So the 13th other SDG is the climate action. Take urgent action to combat climate change. Uh-huh. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. Yeah. Like for instance, deforestation. Like for instance, here in Kenya, um, recently the president said that he would plant 5 billion trees. That is urgent action. That is actually quite urgent action. It's urgent action because if you somehow plant 5 billion trees and they all mature to become 5 billion trees, I'm pretty sure they would make an impact on the climate within, yeah? So obviously he cannot plant 5 billion trees, but if I plant 10, my neighbor plants 10, my neighbor's neighbor plants 10, probably we could attain this together, yeah? So that's urgent climate action. So he said 5 billion. Let's see how that goes, yeah? But I'm hopeful. Number 14, life below water. Conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. Yeah, so whatever is underneath the sea, we have not yet explored it as much as human beings, but now we are more aware. So even as we explore underwater, we are thinking about sustainability, about humanity, and about the sea at large. Yeah. And then also life on land. This is number 15, life on land. Protect, restore, and promote. Protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat deforestation, and halt and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. As it is, the land is in shambles. Like, if you're looking at the protection part kind of didn't work out very well. It's now time to promote and to restore, mostly to restore, because majority of the places that we have been degraded. Yeah. So how can we restore this? First of all, if you're, let's say for instance, in your own household, if you have some space, you could venture into organic farming rather than using, conventional ways of farming. You will be able to restore that particular space that you have. Yeah, so for the bigger companies, bigger capacity and bigger space ranges, they'll obviously work towards sustainable ways of restoring the land. So even if it's conventional farming, there are proper ways to do this, more researched ways, more awareness about how to restore these places in a sane and more humane way. And then we go on to number 16. Number 16 of the 17th SDGs. It is to promote peaceful and inclusive societies. That is, number 16 is peace, justice, and strong institutions. And strong institutions. Promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institution at all levels. At all levels, we should have fully functional institutions which are promoting peace, and also they're inclusive. They're inclusive, not like you need to you're not like, they should be all inclusive depending on who is trying to access these institutions or not. And then we have number 17 of the SDGs, the final SDG, which is partnership for the goal. So there's an end goal for this. The end goal for this is to attain a sustainable world. Yeah. So for all this to happen, number 17 is very key, which is partnership for this goal. Strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. Yeah, of course, you'll have to be partnering with everyone and at every level. So that's the 17th and the most crucial, you know, goal. Because if no one agrees to this, it cannot be done without everyone's agreement, without everyone's participation. Yeah, so with that, guys, that's the end of the video. And of course, there's usually a hashtag that says leave no one behind. So hashtag leave no one behind. And I hope you enjoyed this video, that you learned from it. Have a good time. Bye, guys.